so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you're joining me from. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Accept my greeting according to your time zone. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. You can be among the first to receive it. Then go to the comment section at all times. Leave your comment, drop your contribution. If you have suggestions, make it out there. If you have any criticism, put it down on the comment section. It will make us to get better, presenting you a better program. Thank you so much. Don't be carried away when you hear our men on the ground. The only man that speaks about men on the ground and it moves me and it's supposed to move you is our spokesperson, Master Simon Ekpa, which all of us have chosen. When you are hearing the men on the ground, today, we know that there are so many men on the ground. Men's. Let me use that word, whether correct or not. There are so many men's on the ground. But out of the men's on the ground, the only men on the ground we know are the men that Mazi Simon Ekpa introduced to us. The men that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept intact, the ESN. The ESN that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept intact and Mazi Simon Ekpa have been protecting them and securing them all this while. They are the men we know that are on the ground. But you can see some criminals capitalizing on that name. Every time they say men on the ground, men on the ground. Even some of them, some people will take a phone and call you abroad. From the zoological, they call you, we are men on the ground. It has become a common language. Somebody will pick a call and call, they say, we are men on the ground. And begin to tell you cock and bull stories. And if you are not sound, if you are not mentally disciplined, you begin to talk trash. The only man that have the accurate information about the men, that is for the men on the ground, that is for Biafra, is Mazi Simon Ekpa. Only Mazi Simon Ekpa. The men on the ground that he describes to us are the ones that we know. When you see somebody talking about men on the ground, don't be carried away. Which men is that person talking about? Which men are they talking about? The Zoological Republic is a scam. You and I know that. They take advantage of every opportunity. You will see some people will call you and tell you that they are sick when they are not sick. You have seen online, when people go and take a picture of a sick person, they go online. They go to the extent of arranging with people who are sick. They arrange a sick person and tell him to use that person to defraud somebody who is living abroad. You have seen it several times. Haven't you seen it? We have seen several cases online where people bring fake picture. Some they go and bring somebody who is sick. Somebody who is okay, but they pretend to be sick. Just to scam people who are living abroad. And after contributing money and giving them, off they go. This is the scam that have been going on. And they are doing the same thing in this very struggle that we are in. That is how bad the zoo is. All these are the dangers we have to run away from. That is why I say you must be very careful so that you will not be sabotaging the struggle knowingly and unknowingly. And when you are sabotaging the struggle, you have automatically made yourself a saboteur. Sabotaging can come in different form. When you are asking unnecessary questions, when you are prognosing on things that don't concern you, when you are raising false alarm, all these are sabotaging, and this makes you a saboteur. When you are giving your ear to gossip that doesn't hold water, you think it is easy to control a squad on the ground. You think it's easy. The only men we know on the ground are the men that are contacting direct to Mazi Simon Ekpa. In case you forgot, there are so many men on the ground. There are so many men, different kinds of group. The unknown gunmen you have been hearing, you had when our spokesperson, when our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made it clear that I do not know who these unknown gunmen are. I have not seen them. I don't communicate with them. I don't have any contact whatsoever with them. These very people, today, every one of them is claiming to be men on the ground.
And as they are claiming to be men on the ground, they pick their call and begin to call people abroad. Some of them will call you and tell you how they have been frustrated. They will tell you how they have not eaten food for 20 years. They call you and tell you how their camp has not been functioning, how nobody is helping them, how they are sick. Meanwhile, we don't have any connection with this. And when they call you and you cannot use your common sense, you cannot use your common sense and ignore that section that is not your jurisdiction, since you are senseless, the best way to do is when they call you, keep your mind, tell them this doesn't have anything to do with you. You are not an official in autopilot movement. You are not part of the administrative wing of the autopilot. Why must you be prognosing and responding and making calls, making video calls and making voice call, mail calls that doesn't hold water? The only people that have an evidence, the only man that have an evidence that knows the person, the man on the ground that we are sponsored and deal with this man is someone ever. Only him can tell. Look at the people we are talking about. Only him can tell. Only him have the accurate information about the real men on the ground who are standing for Biafra. So if you go and get your call, phone call, or you go and begin to hear gossip from all those men on the ground, and you come and begin to blame the autopilot, you come and begin to push the blame on autopilot, begin to tell autopilot that we are not training criminals, neither are we sponsoring fraudsters and gangsters. No, we are not training cultists. The men that Mazen Nani kept on ground, the Eastern Security Network, is a security outfit to protect Biafran people, and they are properly and well being taken care of. And the only man that has access to them that can tell us who they are and where they are is Master Simon Epa. Nobody else. And as long as you are not in that section, as long as you're not in that management section of IPOB, you have no business prognosing or talking about it. Immediately you open your mouth and begin to prognose into that area, you are falling away already, and you have become a saboteur because you are sabotaging the struggle. Even myself that is in the media, I am in the media of autopilot. My focus is on media. Anything that doesn't have to do with media doesn't come to my table, and I will not give my ear to it. I get so many calls on a daily basis. I don't respond to them. Somehow I leave them to talk after talking off the phone. Focus your own area of jurisdiction to make sure you are not being a problem. To make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble. The state that we are now moving into Biafra land, it is not a time for distraction. It's not a time for any sabotage. We cannot use the time we have to use to educate Biafran people to begin to address some people who have failed to see reason, who have failed to apply their common sense. You go to the extent to begin to castigate my line and begin to call Master Simon Ekpa names, begin to call Madam Azuka names, with an information which you are not privy to, you're not sure about. All you know is that you had men on the ground. Do you know how many men on the ground you have in that Zoological Republic? The person that is calling you, telling that he's a man on the ground, do you know where he is? Do you know who he or she is working for? Do you know how he or she is getting her own information? Somebody will pick up a call and call you, and you now, after feeding you to scam you, the intention was to scam you and get money. And when they call you, instead of you to snub them and straighten their head for your own side, then you went and diverted the talk and begin to distract the struggle that we are in. You begin to use that as a blackmail and propaganda against the legitimate workers of autopiloted IPOB. Every Biafran autopiloted must pay attention at every given minute. Don't give your ears to idiots. Don't give your ears to idiots. This is a freedom fighting movement. In freedom fighting movement, there must be discipline. There is division of labor and there must be discipline. Chukwu Okeke has given us Master Simon Ekpa through Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, the supreme leader of IPOB. Our supreme leader, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, is the leader of IPOB and he remains the leader of IPOB. Chukwu Okeke through him gave us Master Simon Ekpa and anointed him. And Master Simon Ekpa have taken up that responsibility, trying to put together everything that have fallen apart. Trying to put together everything have fallen apart. And all you do in the other way around is to come and become a stumbling block and hindrance. You think it's easy to manage the Biafran people? Go and try. Go and try. Since you feel it easy, why don't you sponsor your own men on the ground by yourself? Since you are not convinced and you are not satisfied with what our spokesperson Master Simon is doing, why don't you go your own separate ways and begin to do your own things to actualize Biafra? Because the most important thing is getting Biafra. Master Nnamdi Kanu say, if you know what you will do to get Biafra, go ahead and do it. Why are you pushing a burden and distraction on those who have already chosen their path? You are not a financial contributor. You are not holding any post. You are not in any position. You are just claiming to be an autopilot member, which I don't know whether if you are serious or not. But even if you are autopilot member, as long as you don't have any key position, you have no right investigating, prognosing, or talking about things that doesn't have to do with you. What you don't know is bigger than you. Our spokesperson, Master Simon Ekpa, always use that word. What you don't know is bigger than you. It doesn't matter how you wish this will be. And in this struggle, you must not attach emotion to it. If you are somebody that is so emotional, you cannot make headways. If you are so much emotional, you cannot succeed in this struggle. Because there are so many lies flying right, left, and center. People are going to play on your emotions. People are going to play on your emotions. Meanwhile, these are lies. You must not allow people to play on emotion. If you're one of those and you know that you are not emotionally strong, you have no business speaking about the issue of freedom fighting. Every one of us know how the contraption called Nigeria is tough now. Days are hard. People are fighting hard to see how they can make ends meet. And because of that, many people have created different kinds of groups. Some will pick up a call. They will pick their phone and call you and begin to claim what they are not. I tell you, every day you hear there are so many men's on the ground. That is the language you hear today. Men on the ground. Men, that is the common language they use today to extort money. Men on the ground. Everybody have men on the ground. Everybody have access to men on the ground. Everybody in the zoo today is man on the ground. And you take, because of the senseless information that you got, unverifiable information that you've got, and you begin to distract, dehumanize the people who are genuinely working for Biafra. Chukwu Okeke will not forgive you. The earlier you retract your step, the better for you. If you are so concerned about these so men you are talking about, if you are so concerned, what you are going to do is to organize them. You are living abroad, organize them, sponsor them. As long as it is fighting for Biafra, we all are going to meet in Biafra land. Organize them. So many of us in abroad here are doing the same. Without disturbing the autopiloted movement, without distracting our spokesman, Master Simon Ekpa, without disrupting the management of autopilot, without distracting them. So many people on their own are doing the needful. Securing their own area, securing their villages, securing their towns. When you have nothing to offer, don't be a distraction. Do not allow yourself to be an instrument in the hand of the enemy. The stage we are now is not a stage where you're going to look back. That is why you see our spokesman, Master Samuel, he doesn't take a chance. He doesn't take chances. There's no time to begin to plead and explain to this, explain. We have crossed the time of explanation. We have crossed that stage of explanation, very long explanation and talking, and we have crossed that stage. We are taking back our land piece by piece today. We have started the process of taking back our land. It is not a child's play. And some of you that doesn't have inner eyes, some of you are waiting for the day you begin to see bloodshed everywhere. You see guns fighting and shooting up and down. Things doesn't work that way. The struggle and restoration of Biafra is stage by stage. Any stage we get into, we take it and move ahead. Any river we meet, we cross it and move ahead. You cannot force us to do things differently from the way it has been planned. There's a template for restoration of Biafra. Autopilot have a template on how they will restore Biafra. And that template have been implemented and have been opened. You heard after I countdown, our spokesman Samuel announced it and launched us into Biafra. Our consulates were opened in all over countries all over the world. An engagement with the Israeli Republic soldiers began. It was announced. There are so many things that are happening on the ground that you cannot be told. There are so many things happening on the ground we cannot come on air and begin to announce. There are so many successes that have been recorded that has not been talked about. Since you know that you are not one of the officials of the autopiloted IPOB, you are not in the administrative section, why are you prognosing into that area? The information you're asking for, even if you get it, what are you going to do with it? Nothing. So that makes you a saboteur because you are a distractor. As long as your idea and your word is distracting the struggle, hindering us from moving forward, you are a saboteur. That is what you are. There's no two ways about it. And if you do not stay away from that evil, it will consume you. I also use this opportunity to advise every Biafran. Follow every directive that our spokesman Master Samuel have given. Any platform you are in, and you heard that Master Samuel have ordered the closure of that platform, walk away from that platform for your own good. Walk away from that platform. The autopilot media created a platform before. The autopilot global media, global network. Autopilot Biafra global network. And Master Samuel ordered that everybody should move away from that very platform. If you are still there, you are on your own. The autopilot media have created a platform. Autopilot media created a platform where every Biafran should be and get the right information. The autopilot media have created a platform, a group where everybody will be and get the information. If you are not in that platform, try to be there. If you are not in that platform or you want to be in that platform, leave a message on the comment section. After this program, I am going to send you the link so that you can be able to join. Mind the people you listen to. Be very careful the people you listen to and people you pay attention to. Be very careful the message you listen to so that you don't pollute your mind. Because whatever decision you take today, you will be held responsible. When it's going to happen to you, it will happen to you alone. Nobody will be there. Nobody's going to rescue you. For every decision you take today, you'll be held responsible. That is why we must digest every single statement that comes to us. Every single information or message that comes to us. digest it. If that area is not your jurisdiction, there's no point in listening to it. Don't give ear to it. Don't give ear to things that doesn't concern you. There's no point. There's no point. I give you an example of myself. Even as I'm in autopilot media, there are so many things that I don't ask about. I don't want to know. And I must not get into it because that is not my area of jurisdiction. But anything that has to do with media, if it is not told to me, I will ask questions. Anything that has to do with media, I get involved in it. Likewise, you that is in the comment section, there is another assignment that Chukwuokama have placed you. Maybe your own assignment is to be sharing videos. Whenever you see a platform where the autopilot message people, you share videos. Maybe your own calling is sensitization on the ground, sensitizing people, telling people the story of Biafra, encouraging people, making your donations in the ESN. All these are different calls that everybody have. Whichever one Chukwuokama have touched your heart to participate in, continue to follow it diligently. Do not poke nose where you are not called. That makes you a saboteur because you are going to be sabotaging every other person that is there. When you begin to poke nose into an area that doesn't concern you, it has become a sabotage. And as you are sabotaging that area, that has made you a saboteur. We must be very careful, the people we will listen to. We must be very careful what we say, what we do. It will not be a good thing that after all this war that we have faced, after all this war we have faced for almost 2 years, it should not be a nice thing that we will still be there. That we will still be here. Saying things or dancing from left to right. It should not be nice